So hello and welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. As you can see, we're here literally in my backyard, so to speak, just where I live, a beautiful part of the countryside. And as you can see, beautifully coming into land in this helicopter, just on, I guess what's a little horse riding section of someone's house near where I live. And we're here in Flight Simulator. We're going to be looking at all the VR settings. As I did in the last video, I'm going to try and show maybe 4 different variations of screen resolution or VR resolution while we're in the sim, and just trying to understand what some of these things do, some of the settings that I'm using within Flight Simulator 2024, and some of these beautiful views. If you're a flight fan, or I mean, look at that. That is just phenomenal, isn't it? Standing on the rooftop of a building in the middle of London, just watching a plane come through the skyscape on the back of a boat. I mean, I do apologise for the curse of it on the screen that ruins the immersion. But look at that, just on London Bridge, and you've got a jet just passing through. It's fantastic. Just up past the Shard. Again, just down by the London Eye. Oh, it just looks amazing. When you've got this headset on, you are there. You are in London. You are on this bridge. You're watching this plane just flying across. Just looking at it coming across your head and you're turning around. Big Ben there. Obviously some of the cars aren't particularly fantastic. Some of the buildings are a little bit wobbly and all out of shape. But I don't think it matters how I mean, the buildings here are on ultra settings. Some of the settings I have got dialed down, we'll look at these as we get into it. But if you blow me down, if you have got a fear of heights and you are standing on some of these buildings, just leaning down over the edge, you'll want to just check yourself for a second. Again, I forget the name of this fighter jet that I'm flying, and don't get me wrong, I am not a flight genius in any way, shape or form. I've got all the assists on, and I'm just enjoying it. Flying the planes and the helicopters is so easy in this game. When you just come on just to enjoy. I mean, look at that skyscape. You've got St Paul's Cathedral, the Gherkin building. You know, just flying the plane upside down. I wanted to go through the centre of London Bridge there, upside down, but I just totally bottled it.
1000, QNH 101
Millennium Dome there in the distance, Canada
Roger,
Tower.
Alpha Foxtrot Mike.
It does look absolutely stunning. And I swear you could just stand on the top of these rooftops and just look around. If you know London, I mean, I don't particularly know London. I've worked in a number of places. I mean, look at that, just stepping towards the edge. If you've got a fear of heights, I tell you, that feels high when you've got the headset on. And especially when you can change like the lighting and the clouds and the rain and everything, just right in the middle of flying, you can just change these things on the. I mean, look at that skyline. I mean, this isn't even with the resolution cranked up. I think this is running at like 75%. It's not even anywhere near 100% in Pimax Play. So the resolution here is probably close to 4,000 by 4,000, something like that. But to be able to take it up higher than that, you can see a little bit of the mirror there, I think, what people talk about. But I mean, look at that, you've got London Bridge, St Paul's Cathedral, right in the middle, just catching the sun as it's coming up. Some beautiful buildings. I'm yet to fly in America. It's going to be so much fun. I've literally flown in London so far and around the area where I live. And just coming out and doing these little replay, because you can record the replay and you can float around in the drone, set yourself in the position and watch the planes come past. It's fantastic, it really is. I've wanted to do this so long on Xbox, and it's just not, you can't even record replays on Xbox. So to be able to watch these back, I did this for hours and hours, just positioning myself. Obviously you can see here these little differences. I do apologise for the cursor. I've stopped recording it now in OBS because I forget when, it might be off screen for me when I'm in VR, but it still remains on screen when you're recording. So as you can see in the top left corner, we've got running at 1% or 100% in Pimax Play. We've got no upscaling done. Everything's recorded with dynamic foveated rendering. I'm not using the foveated rendering that is within Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've turned that off, and we're just running with dynamic foveated rendering within Pimax Play. Obviously, I'm using, I forget the software that I'm using in the top left corner to record the delta, the delta really. But I have got the same delta within my headset on the OpenXR toolkit, and it does record exactly the same frames per second. Obviously within the headset I can actually see a lot more detail, whether we're dropping frames, and I think the frame time is probably around 20, something like 15 to 20. It's always dropping frames. There's never a point where it's below 11 milliseconds per frame being rendered. There is always issues. As you can see from top left to bottom right, the frame generation is so much better. We're almost getting double frames, dropping it down. But as you can see, we're almost dropping half of the resolution as well. But a happy medium, I think, in the top right, running 75% on Pimax Play. You could bring it down to 0.70, which we'll look at further in the video. But I mean, look at that, 40 million pixels being rendered every single second. It is absolutely insane how much. I mean, look at the detail on that top left image. But it's very hard to tell the difference with these smaller images. I do blow them out a little bit later on. But I think only when we come down to this bottom right image, I really did notice things in the different distance being hard to judge. Exact quality, you know, when you're looking for really fine quality. And I think when you're looking at the dashboard inside the plane, some of the writing and stuff, you kind of need to lean in to read it. I'm always careful. I'm not going to smash my head on my wheel that's just sat here. I do tend to try and push the seat back a little bit. But I think if you could, obviously I'm rendering also a 2K monitor as well at the same time, so the graphics card's doing quite a bit. Obviously we're recording footage as well at the same time. But some of these images, we will come on board and have a flight in a couple of other aircrafts during this video. And I'll look over all my settings within Microsoft Flight Simulator. As you can see here, then you can see that stuttering, and that stuttering is there. It's maybe not so apparent as you see it on the screen here when you're in the headset, but it does take away from me the immersion when it's not 1-for-1 resolution. And I think when you start to get close to 60 FPS, you kind of start to feel less sick. But I mean, looking at all the reflections in the windows and everything, there's so much going on. And even in the dashboard, the reflections from the glass around the dials, you really do feel so in this plane. It's absolutely fantastic. And we'll look even further when we start actually flying. Obviously you can see there when we drop down to the lower resolution, this is the lowest resolution really you'd want to run at, I think. When you've paid so much to run on a 5090 and you're running a decent headset, you kind of got the benefit. If you're wanting to fly with really smooth frames, I mean, look at that 76 FPS. And we're right in the middle of London, generating so much, and there's nothing popping in the distances. Everything is rendered. There'll be a small, like a micro stutter every now and then, I guess, when we need to render further out. But even that, I think when you go, I mean, obviously you can see we've changed screen now, and we're actually upscaling using the NVIDIA upscaler within Pimax Play. Everything's been left the same in Microsoft Simulator. The only things I'm adjusting here are resolution and whether we're upscaling or not. So there is so many variables with this game. It's just trying to find that sweet spot really that makes you happy, makes you feel, I mean, that looks one-to-one to me. When I'm looking with my own eyesight, everything is so crisp and clear. Everything inside the dash, I'm not struggling to read anything. It's probably clearer for me with the headset on than it is for you. You're landing on the water looks amazing. I tried to do the same run over and over again, really got used to the London skyscape. Every now and then I seem to land on this runway though. I've got these massive airplanes just staring me down and taking evasive action really. But I have done a tiny bit of testing, just trying to lower the resolution. I think I went down to 65 and it is very similar. Maybe 68 would be like rendering 2 or 3 2K monitors. But yeah, I don't tend to use these ones. Only every now and then you'll be forced to have to use this. I mean, look at that when we turn the rain on. But if you do turn these off completely, you can sort of revert back to using the mouse within the game, which feels much easier to be honest. But I mean, look at the raindrops on the window here. It looks phenomenal. I use Alt and T just to turn everything off when I'm in the display. So there's nothing on at all and it just feels so realistic. I was kind of like leaning back at this window, just trying to look at the water droplets just going across the screen. And like I mentioned there, I have tried to change that now so that I'm only running a 1080p monitor because I don't see the monitor. It's only when the wife comes in the room, she's wondering what you're doing. I mean, look at that! We've got a beautiful rainbow in the distance. I don't know why I didn't look over there. Probably even 2 rainbows, double rainbow. But it looks beautiful, doesn't it? Looking across there at my co-pilot. I really haven't fathomed out how to do any of the proper stuff when it comes to radio communications. I mean, look at this ship here, look. Beautiful. And I have actually climbed all these masts as well on the dome. It takes about 12 to 15 minutes to climb each one of them when I was doing an inspection some years ago. But yeah, look at that water on the windscreen. It really does look fantastic. I have got the windscreen set on ultra graphics as well. Some of these things, we'll have a look at them later. I don't go into huge amount of detail with them. I just sort of fly over them so that you can see exactly what I'm running. Obviously I'm running this on my 5090 with a Ryzen 7 9800X3D. It's a monster of a PC, it really is. But it's been purely designed for running VR because I knew that was the only way I wanted to go, whether it's sim racing, which is what I predominantly want to be doing, but I've been recently had keyhole surgery on my shoulder. I'm still yet to really get it strong enough to do sim racing, which I can't wait to get into it, I really can't. But in the meantime, I will definitely be doing loads of Flight Simulator. As much as I'm still going to be testing other sims, trying to get them dialed in so that when I do come available, I can just jump on. So just slowing this this aircraft down then just as I was coming into land, I think, just past the London Eye. Went on the London Eye a number of years ago. Probably a fortune to go in it now. But yeah, just looking across And that was the other thing, when you really do start to come up at height, I think if you wanted to run max graphic settings and you only do like long haul flights and you're just hugely up in the sky, there's no reason why you can't run. I mean, look at the FPS, this is it, max graphics FPS as well, I think. In fact, no, this is 75% still we are. Look at that over at night. The scene looks fantastic at night, it really does. I mean, look at the sun just going down over the horizon. This might be Chelsea's ground actually. I'm not a big football fan, so I did want to just see what these areas of illumination were. I've got no idea whether they're lit up like this in the real world. Just pushing this plane to the maximum. Obviously I've got all the assists turned off, so I think by now the plane would have probably been ripped apart, diving at such a speed. I've got the warnings going crazy. I mean, look at, it's stunning, it really is. When you've got the headset on and you're just looking around and you've got all the reflections off the glass and everything, you've kind of got to pinch yourself that you're not actually there. And I think one of the strangest things is when you've been on a night flight and you take the headset off and it's the middle of the day, you really do like, what? It just feels so weird. It's like you've just suddenly come from night to day. I don't think I've ever been to this ground working. I do visit the Millennium. Is it Millennium Dome? Not the Millennium Dome. The new Wembley Stadium, just shortly. Yeah, it's a lovely moon as well. I think I've got a clear sky. Yeah, as I was coming across Wembley Stadium here, it was so bright in the headset. I really do need to turn the brightness down on the headset. I couldn't even look at it. It was so bright. I thought I was going to like burn the retina out my eye or something. It was literally like looking at the sun. Even looking at it now, but it was 10 times that bright in the headset. Again, I worked on the Wembley Stadium a long time ago, doing a lot of roof work. An amazing project. But looking at the night sky there, fantastic. So yeah, just coming into, this was the Albatross, which was what I was flying in London earlier. Just going from, yeah, that was another thing as well I wanted to mention about this, the mouse. If you know how to get rid of that in VR, you just seem to drag the mouse around and it leaves these trails everywhere, which can be really annoying. They do go after you've been through it once. And I tend to close my eyes through this loading stage because it gets a bit juddery. So again, I'm filming this in a very different way now, using the capture through OpenXR toolkit within OBS. It doesn't really capture it as nicely as it now does in SU4 version of Flight Simulator 2022, but it allows me to show all this detail within the headset, the frame times. As you can see there, we're never actually, the GPU's never actually lower than 11 milliseconds. We're always dropping frames. Obviously the goal really was 45 FPS, so we always seem to be above that whenever there's a little glitch. I've got to be honest as well, when you've got the headset on, there is a really strange feeling. I know some people do suffer with like sickness, and I did have to do this over a number of sessions, because what the brain sees, it just seems to want to generate that sensation within your head. It's a strange way of looking at it, but when you start pulling G's through the plane, it's like the brain wants to simulate it. It's So it's not like you're getting seasick, but you're feeling like those G's on the body. It's a really strange feeling as you start to roll the plane and start to dip down and stuff. And like when you rise up, there's a section in this video where I go fully, I guess, inverted. Maybe it's here. But there is, I do apologise, there is almost a sense of weightlessness for a split second. And it's hard to actually understand how that feels when you're just watching it on a screen like this. But when you have got that headset on, and it is kind of pushed a little bit forward with the view we've got going on here. As we just come upside down and that weightless feeling for a second. Then we start to come back down again. But in the normal VR, I am set back a little bit further. It's just the way it's filmed. I do apologise. I just wanted to show you the OpenXR toolkit so you can see in real time exactly what was up in the top left corner. I think it shows you the VRAM usage that's in effect and the fact that we are just dropping frames all the time, even though we're using, I guess, the best GPU company on the market. I think that's one of the issues with VR right now. There just isn't a GPU that's capable of running max resolutions. I think gone are those days where if you got the highest end GPU, you could just max all the settings out, ultra everything. So just quickly look over the settings that I'm running here within Flight Simulator. Obviously you can see there's some high, there's some ultras, there's some medium, but nothing's in the low section and relatively everything's high medium, apart from things like the screen and stuff like that. Obviously you could see foveated rendering was off. And I don't like this. Every time I come back I need to change. I'm using this, the Hotas, again thanks to ChatGPT for these beautiful images. But let's just get rid of, just down the bottom right hand corner there, I'm just going to close down the software that I'm using. Afterburner, that was it. My MSI Afterburner is what I was using in the top left corner. So everything else is running. We've got OBS recording. There's nothing else down there that I can really close. So as you come back into the headset then, and we go just coming down there, you could probably drop it to 72 Hertz, to be honest. It never gets anywhere near 90. And I don't use the automatic IPD adjustment. I set that myself. And for me, that's the best setting really, 70 to 75, with any upscaling off, dynamic foveated rendering on. So I use that either on ultra or quality, and hidden area mask. I tend to have that on because other people have. You could see down in the bottom left corner there, the dynamic foveated rendering is on, and always make sure you can see that. Some things then in the graphic settings, obviously I've not optimized it because it'll change everything almost to ultra, and I'm not running it on a monitor. So just look at some of these things. They might be different on yours. Low latency mode, I think it's on in this, but I have got it on ultra within the 3D version. We will have a quick look at that as well. So that's just the monitor I'm running in the background. It doesn't have an option really to optimize it for VR, so that maybe that's something that will come in the future. That would be great to see, to kind of get the best of everything. So just in the 3D management options, then you might see some things in here. Making that bigger doesn't really make much difference, does it? I'm trying to think of some of the things that stand out. Obviously low latency mode, like I said. Maximum frame rate, you might as well turn that off. G6 just for my monitor. Make sure power management, prefer maximum performance. And I think just a little further down there, virtual reality pre-render frames, make sure that's on 1. There's loads of videos out there for these settings, but personally for my view, I'm really enjoying Flight Simulator. It's the next addition for VR for me, and something I'll continue to do. Can't wait to try many other titles, just trying to get them zoned in really. Thanks for watching the video as always. Until next time, ciao for now.